Time to get all this stuff out of our brains. Hey there and welcome to my channel. This is Foggy Fiction and I am Haley. I'm a writer living with mental illness, doing my best to show that mental health does not dictate talent or worth, and hoping to encourage others to chase their dreams. If you're new to my channel, I try to post 1 to 2 videos a week, usually centered around things related to writing, reading, and mental health, but sometimes I get off topic and that's okay too. In today's video, we are continuing the Preptober 2021 series. We just finished deciding on an idea and now it's time to brainstorm it. Let's get to it. Alright, so you've gone through all of your ideas and narrowed down the one that speaks to you the most. You know the basic premise, maybe you've already written down a few extra ideas that came up at the time, but for the most part, that's all you've got. Whatever you wrote down when that original idea first came to you. Here's the fun part, or I think this part is fun anyway. The brain dump. You're doing basically just what the words say, dumping all of the information and ideas you can possibly come up with out of your brain. I know that sounds like a simple thing that probably doesn't need further explanation, but you might be surprised to hear that the way I brain dump now is different from the way that I used to do it, and I think the way I do it now is better. So before, I would just kind of write down an idea whenever it came to me, sometimes reading through the ideas I already had in hopes that it would spark more. But, that was just about it. I was also a firm pantser, nothing wrong with that, and most of the rest of my brain dumping and info gathering happened as I was writing. Again, there is nothing wrong with that. As a former pantser, that is just what used to work for me. When I learned that I'm more of a plotter than I realized, I consider myself a plantser that leans more toward plotting now. I changed up the way that I do most everything, including my brain dumps. So what changed? Instead of letting the ideas come to me whenever they want to, I run sort of a stream of consciousness writing sprint. I pull up my document, make a bullet point list, and just start writing down all the ideas that I currently have. When I've got those out, I start asking myself questions. I write down the questions as I ask them. Honestly, I write down basically every little thing that goes through my mind as I'm brain dumping. The little comments that come to mind like, I really like this idea, or I don't like this as much, or if I go this route, I should also do this, or if I don't go this route, I could do this instead. I like to be able to see where my mind was at when I was coming up with each idea. As I'm asking myself the questions, I usually start with simple ones. What are some names that I like? How old is my main character? Are their parents still alive? Does my character have a job? What kind of things do they like to do for fun? What do their friendships look like? How does my character end up in the situation at the core of my premise? I also like to ask myself questions taken from plot structure, like, what is the inciting incident? What do I want the climax of the story to be? What kind of ending am I going for? What is my B story? What do I want my opening to look like? Sometimes the questions are ones that pop up based on an idea I just wrote down. Something like, if they have a job, is it one that they like? If they don't have a job, how are they paying for their lifestyle? If I'm wanting her romantic interest to be someone that she doesn't already know, how do I want them to meet? If her parents are still alive, what is her relationship with them? I do the same thing with the plot structure questions. What is it about this incident that pushes my character onto the new path the rest of the story takes? If I don't choose this moment for the climax, what else could be big enough to work here? Do I want my B story to be a romantic subplot? If I'm writing a happy ending, what do I need to do to make sure that ending makes sense and doesn't just feel shoved in for the sake of being happy? I just keep going through and asking myself every possible question that I can come up with until I feel like I have enough to move on to the next step. And the next step we will cover in the next video. So that's how brain dumping looks for me. It's usually something that I do over a period of several days, just dipping in when I have the chance. So it's not generally something that I just do in one sitting. What about you? What does the brain dump process look like for you? Do you even do this process? I'm curious and would love to know. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're interested in following my very clumsy journey as a writer living with mental illness, and enjoy the happy moments.